Welcome to Cooper High School in New Hope for an early season boys basketball matchup, a non-conference game. Tonight it's the Maple Grove Crimson taking on the Cooper Hawks. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox in a new season here. Brand new team really for Maple Grove. They were in the state tournament last year, but everybody who played last year for the Crimson was a senior, including a couple of guys who are standing out at the Division I level in college ball. So a whole new team. They had their opener against Rogers last week in a rematch of the Section 8 final. Sluggish first half, but Maple Grove came back and won it in overtime. Meanwhile, for Cooper, definitely a little more experience returning for the Hawks. So they had a similar first game. They were here at home against Roosevelt. Had a sluggish first half as well. Both of these teams only scored 16 points in their first halves of those games. Cooper came back and took the lead, played a much stronger second half, but then Roosevelt ended up pulling it out in the end, so the Hawks come in at 0-1. But a team with some potential this season as they return quite a few players who saw considerable playing time. They also have a couple of guys back in the lineup tonight who were getting ready for the All-Star football game last week, so they were not here playing for the Hawks in that season opener. I'm going to tell you about a couple of key players to look at in tonight's contest based on their first game success mostly. Starting with Maple Grove, and Alex Batiste is a guy who's got some spring. He's about 6'4", pretty good inside player, can shoot the ball a little bit too. He had a nice debut, 19 points and 12 rebounds in that win over Rogers, and he's a guy that they're going to count on to do some scoring and some defensive work for them tonight and all season long. And one of those returners for Cooper, Jalen Justice, had a nice game against Roosevelt as he started the season with a 21-point effort. They shot the ball a little bit better as that game went on, and that'll be a key tonight. Maple Grove really looking to pack it back in defensively and make Cooper beat them with jump shots. Meanwhile, Cooper, they want to speed the tempo up in this game. They want to pressure Maple Grove all over the court, get after them, force them into some mistakes, not let them run through their offense a time or two. And so tempo is definitely going to be something that both teams want to look at. Maple Grove won it last year when they played Cooper. It was a real track meet, and I don't think either team really expects it to be quite that high scoring this year. Well, we'll see who'll come out on top. Maple Grove taking on Cooper coming up next. Ariel McDonald will join me for the call in just a moment here on CCX. Welcome to Cooper High School as the Crimson of Maple Grove coming in with a 1-0 mark against the Cooper Hawks, 0-1. So second game of the season for both of these teams, along with Ariel McDonald. I'm Jay Wilcox. As Maple Grove, we said brand new group for that team in the state tournament a year ago. And all new starters this year, Alex Batiste and Jordan Stensland up front, Jared Rainey, Kyle Dreyer and Ian Lim in the backcourt for Coach Nick Schroeder and the Crimson. And for the Cooper Hawks, Chokin Massey and Ante Burns up front, Jalen Justice, Nathan Hill, Jalen Miller. The backcourt for the Hawks under Coach Bo Powell, and we are about set to tip it off. It'll be Batiste and Massey, and always fun to see a new season going, Coach, and Coach McDonald from the Providence Academy team, and brand new really for Maple Grove here.
You know, just they had so many excellent players throughout the years, losing Davison, Hutchinson, Pickford. You know, it was a time where they executed very effectively for Maple Grove, and now this new crop of young players has come in here. So it'll be interesting to see how Coach Schroeder develops this young talent.
Jared Rainey, now the pass gets away. They dive on the floor for it. A tie-up will go Cooper's way after Maple Grove had won the opening tip. There's a look at Nick Schroeder in his 8th season. You know, these guys are not new to the program at Maple Grove, just new to being on the varsity court. So guys that he's known, you know, coming up a little bit. Here's Massey with it. Jalen Miller brings it to the top, and now Nate Hill. Hill is a strong guard. He can get to the lane and use his body. I saw him the other night, and he made some big plays for them. Good football player. They've got quite a football presence from the excellent Cooper football team, too.
I was thinking Cooper was going to come up tempo, but they look very patient, just trying to set this up and trying to decipher maybe what Maple Grove is doing. It started out kind of in a 2-3 matchup, but now they're in man. And right now, Cooper just looking for that opening.
Ante Burns shoots it up, no good. Rebound grab by Miller. That's no good. Massey a try, didn't get it. So they got 3 cracks at it, but unable to finish.
It's going to be important for the young Maple Grove players is to understand second chance opportunities. They want to make sure that when you're playing on the road, you want to rebound well. You don't want to give the home team too many opportunities to score.
Rainey drives the ball here for Maple Grove, and he was fouled. And there's a look at Bo Powell now in his 3rd season with the Hawks, and obviously had a very successful run at Park Center. Took them to the state final back when Quinton Hooker, Mr. Basketball, played for them. And then the pass inside, going to be another foul on the Hawks. First one went against Miller. This one will go against Ante Burns. And it will send Batiste to the free throw line.
Batiste doing an excellent job posting up. Maple Grove trying to get something out of that possession. They want to start inside and kind of work their way out. And that's smart when you're playing on the road. You want to be able to soften up that middle so your guards can get in the lane. And that's going to be a challenge for Cooper tonight, trying to keep him off that low block.
Made the first, missed the second. Coach Schroeder was saying he felt like, from seeing Cooper, that if we can protect the ball, we might probably be okay, but it's just that they're very quick and very aggressive, and you have to, always be making sure that you're taking care of the basketball against them, maybe more than some of the other teams that they'll see this year.
Cooper takes advantage of those football players that they have now on the basketball team, and they're physical guys. They don't mind that contact. So for Maple Grove, they're going to have to be a physical team and accept that challenge.
Batiste kicking it back out. Stensland's jumper, no. Rebounded by Justice. Here's Hill. Little crossover there. You see Maple Grove really packing it back in. Cooper does have, a couple of guys who can shoot the ball a little bit, but they're going to have to prove it against Maple Grove here tonight. Massey, who's a pretty nice inside player, turns, had it blocked by Batiste. He got it right back, and then is fouled on the second opportunity. And a good lesson right there. It's no fun having your shot blocked, but it's not the end of the world. You just go after it and get it again.
Yeah, you just stay in the play there, but, he gets the ball back, and he's able to, try to go to the basket and score again. And if you're Maple Grove, if you get a block shot, if you get an opportunity to rebound, you have to be one and done, because with this Cooper, they have a deep bench too, and they bring guys from the bench who still are very physical, so it's not going to ever let up the whole night long.
Massey makes a pair, so Cooper takes the lead now at 2-1. All the points coming on free throws so far, and now Cooper able to set up a little bit of pressure. Not coming too heavy with it on this trip anyway. Ian Lim gets a step to the hoop. Massey with the block, but the Crimson will get it back. Rainey traveled though, I think, yes. He got a little eager. Nice block. It looked like a good drive initially, but Massey coming over to help.
Playing that weak side, and you're just looking for an opportunity when a guy's driving blind like that to just come from the weak side and pin it against the glass. That's that athleticism that Cooper has, and so for Maple Grove, when they get around there, you might want to use some ball fakes, draw some fouls in order to get to that free throw line, because if they keep driving, Cooper's coming.
Burns will be called for the travel there.
It's been early in the season, and I'm noticing that, in the beginning of the season, referees are trying to reinforce some of the rules and some of the things that they review as referees throughout the summer. So referees are going to be looking for travels, looking for elbows. Elbows has been a point of emphasis in which they're trying to make sure that players stay safe and not hurt each other.
Batiste looking to dunk, but Hill got a piece of it and gets the block. Nathan Hill briefly lost it. Now Burns, and keep in mind again, it is the first game for Ante Burns too. The other guys have been out there once, and this is his first time. Massey driving, but couldn't quite get it to go, and Batiste rebounds. Rainey is going to stop and pull up, but way off with that one, and Hill coming back the other way. And he is fouled by Rainey.
I think Rainey just probably fouled there to stop that fast break opportunity. Cooper had numbers there. It was like a 5-on-4 break. So I call that a strategic, smart foul.
Kind of a slow start for both teams offensively. We've yet to have a basket made. All 3 points coming on free throws here as Hill, Cooper, or Maple Grove looking to double him there. Now they swing it across. Here's Justice, an open look, but it won't drop. There's Hill on the board. No. Gets it one more time. Hill goes up strong. And then Rainey, the rebound for Maple Grove, and he was fouled. So a little bit of bad news for both teams. Maple Grove are having a heck of a time keeping Cooper off the glass, but Cooper having a heck of a time finishing inside.
Hill with probably a frustration foul there. Had 2 opportunities there, but Batiste, his presence there makes it very difficult to score inside.
Rainey will bring it up. They look to double. Stensland gets it over. Batiste will dunk it home.
Nice play there by Stenson. I mean, he saw the play the whole way. Just a nice little touch pass there.
And the rim was a little out of place, and the referee jumped up and fixed it. Now that's impressive. Burns will kick it over. Here's Jalen Miller, and that's good for 3.
Good sign there for Cooper. They do a good job, you know, dribble penetrating and really getting deep into the paint and sucking in that defense. We just need some shooters to be able to make it from the perimeter.
Rainey going all the way, and he gets it to go with the left-hand layup. So now the offense is starting to pick it up a little bit. You see one go in for, and then back and forth. They're both able to convert a little bit better.
Last year, Coach Schroeder, he spoke about the game that they played where both teams really couldn't stop each other. They scored in the 90s, but that just means that both teams, you know, playing excellent basketball.
Hill with the miss, and a tie up there as Burns and Dreyer each had their hands wrapped around it. It'll go Maple Grove's way. Ante Burns had a great football season for Cooper this last year as a linebacker and a little bit of running back as well. Ended a little shorter than they would like as they lost in their section final. Cambon coming in, and you may remember the Vaughn name from Cooper. He's Rashad's little brother. Stensland giving it back out to Rainey. Vaughn on him. In for Maple Grove, Mac Wilner, number 10. Stensland sees an opening, and he traveled.
I don't know about that call right there. He got the ball high up off the ground. You know, sometimes referees, when they see an unusual move, they're more prone to call a violation.
Vaughn traveled on the other side, and both teams kind of adjusting to, like you said, they're calling things a little bit tighter early in the year like that.
Yeah, they want players now to put the ball on the floor, and so they pretty much just eliminated what's called a first step. And so young players got to get adjusted to it. Usually takes about 6-7 games, and then you're familiar with it.
Inside it comes. Wilner the miss, but just trying to follow, but couldn't get it to go. Here's Vaughn leading it the other way for Cooper. Javante Warren is in now, number 10 for the Hawks. Burns into the lane, a little pull-up, won't go, but we had a foul call against Cooper trying to get to the rebound. That'll be Massey called for a push. So team foul number 4 on Cooper. Derek Voss reporting in for Cooper, number 20, is a senior. Rainey being hounded up court. He's going to be in for a long night, I think. Not that he, just a night where they're going to be after him all night. He's going to have to step up to the challenge.
Well, Cooper, even though they have a little bit of size, all 5 players are able to defend 1 through 5. They're physical guys, so they're not afraid to switch and maybe play defense on a low post guy. But even if they get out on that perimeter and they get extended, I mean, those guys, big guys, guards, they all can slide him.
Stensland kicking it over. Mac Wilner with it now. Number 1, Zach Bradbury's in there for Maple Grove as well. Stensland shooting it up, wouldn't get it. Wilner the rebound though. Now it's Dreyer taking it and hitting it, a 3-pointer.
Good sign for Maple Grove. Second chance points. They get an offensive rebound and able to locate someone around the perimeter. And Maple Grove, they have great shooters.
Justice giving it up to Burns. Vaughn, nice dish down low. The reverse layup is good and a foul as Warren able to finish it off. I saw the other night Vaughn is a very good passer, and there wasn't a whole lot of room there. He snuck that through. We have a pretty good angle where we're sitting to see just how he snuck this one in there.
And he threw it right over his shoulder. Just threaded the needle there, and that was just a nice little backdoor cut. And Vaughn, he's proven to his teammates that he's a willing passer, so they play smart enough where they'll cut and move without the ball, get themselves in scoring position.
So Maple Grove's lead cut to 1. Warren unable to finish the three-point play chance, though. Wilner giving it back. Baseline fadeaway not there. And then we had a foul on Maple Grove going for the rebound. Bradbury will pick it up. So he picks up 2 in short order here, and Cooper will inbound in the backcourt. 4th team foul against Maple Grove. Cooper's committed 5 as Jalen Justice works it up into the front court here for the Hawks. Vaughn, crossover and then a step back jumper, not good. Rebounded by Maple Grove's Rainey. Rainey getting a high screen. Cooper did a pretty good job of staying with it, and then a turnover. The pass was a little bit lower than Wilner was expecting. And those are the type of turnovers that really bug you as a coach when, you know, they're kind of an unforced thing. I mean, sure, Cooper's putting a little pressure on you, but.
I think Cooper would prefer to maybe get a steal because they're playing at home, and part of their offensive strategy is transition baskets. So even though that was great defense, they want to get some steals so they can get up and down and get into some kind of rhythm.
Daniel Walljasper, number 15, checking in for Maple Grove. Yeah, Maple Grove has succeeded in keeping the tempo more where they'd like it. There's a traveling call on Justice.
So you can see the referees now really trying to establish the idea that they are going to call the travel. That's 4 traveling violations called already. Maybe the boys need to just slow down a little bit, put that ball on the floor before they take off and go.
And I thought of the ones they've called, only one was a certain travel to me. But inside, nice passing, and Wilner finishes it for Maple Grove. So the Crimson go up by 3 here as we took under 10 minutes to play in this first half. Warren back out to Vaughn. They'll swing it quickly to Justice. Looks left wing, Ante Burns. Vaughn had his pass deflected. Then he gets it and is able to save it off of Rainey, so Cooper will keep possession. Maple Grove doing a pretty decent job getting into some passing lanes a little bit, getting in the hands up. Different goal defensively, I think, for both of these teams, but they're both doing it pretty well, what they're wanting to do.
Yeah, you know, Maple Grove, they're packing the paint. They're playing three-point line and down versus Cooper, really trying to get in passing lanes, and the reason why they want to do that, they want to get on the fast break. Maple Grove wants to force Cooper to make perimeter shots and keep him out the paint.
Here's a trap on Burns. He gets it to Warren. Warren short with that one. Might have been partially blocked, it looked like. And then the pass throw thrown away by Maple Grove. We talked about Cooper, you know, a turnover or two that they didn't want. That was definitely another one for Maple Grove that you just kind of go, okay, it's early in the season here.
Right, and probably an unforced turnover. Maple Grove playing a little too fast there.
Hill around to Vaughn. Vaughn looking to turn the corner. Nice dish inside. Here's Hill, but he faded back a little bit on that one. He worried about getting his shot blocked, it looked like. Rainey whipping it down low, but into too much traffic, and Vaughn out of there with it for the Hawks. Jalen Miller. Vaughn puts it on the deck, then kicks it out nicely to Hill and around to Miller. He passed up a jumper and then was held on the drive. Good call there as he got both hands on the dribbler. Nice little shot fake there, and Wilner will pick up the foul.
Cam Vaughn's doing a good job, really doing you know, trying to break that defense with that dribble drive. He's finding guys even on the three-point line. They just got to be able to finish.
Back out. Miller will line it up for three. Bounces around and drops. Jalen Miller knocking down his second three of the night. And Cooper battling back to even things up. Into Batiste. Up and over Massey, but missed it. Here comes Warren the other way for Cooper. Pretty good job getting back by the Crimson here. So Cooper into their offense now. Hill, a little crossover and was fouled.
And you can clearly see. You can kind of clearly see what Hill's game is about. It's all downhill. You know, he's going to take it into the meat and potatoes of the zone and get physical. And, you know, sometimes that's an asset. It's always good when you know who you are. When you know who you are and you stay in your lane, that's his job to, you know, to control tempo. It's difficult to pressure him because he has that good size and strength, so you're not going to rattle him. But he does a really good job getting deep in that paint. Now he just needs a little bit of that Vaughn in him where he's able to find and locate players on the perimeter.
Cooper by one now as Hill gets 1 for 2. Around to Lim, and here's Batiste inside. Kicks it back out. Lim will shoot it from the baseline. That's good for 3.
That's a tough shot there.
Ian Lim knocking it down as they went inside out. Massey keeps the dribble alive. Missed it, but got it back himself. Then blocked by Batiste. And Maple Grove will come out of there with it. Lim leading the break. Left side, Dreyer up the miss. Batiste, the putback is good.
There's Maple Grove. Already now 6 points off of second chance opportunities, and you know, the more that number increases, the better you got to feel.
Miller with the miss, and then a foul committed by Miller, it looked like, after the Crimson had grabbed the rebound.
Tries to take him baseline. Maple Grove doing a really good job rebounding. They understand we have to rebound the ball. We can't give these guys second chances. We have to make sure we rebound the ball. Then we can get out in transition. So we've seen Lynn just knock down a corner 3.
Phoenix Sproles, number 11, checks in for Cooper. Another of those football guys. Here's Rainey shooting it, and that one's good for 3. Maple Grove starting to heat up now from beyond the arc. They've made 3.
Nice shot to shoot.
Nice little stop and go, but he couldn't quite finish. Vaughn has shown some creative moves, but just didn't make the layup there. And now we'll get a foul against Cooper's DeAndre Miller on the reach-in as you get another look at this last hoop for the Crimson.
Nice little swing action. Looking for that guard to pop out wide, spot up for that three-point shot. If not, they can throw it inside to Batiste. Just nice little transition action going on there.
Rainey to shoot. Free throw is good. He now has 6 points for the Crimson, and they lead it by 8. Biggest lead, obviously, for either team here early in this game. Second one also good. So a 20-11 advantage here for Maple Grove as Hill to the front court here for the Hawks. Open look, but not able to get it for DeAndre Miller. Lim getting them into their offense. Now Dreyer. Looking for inside, but unable to get it inside when they look for Batiste. Now he'll kick it back out. Wilner wide with that one and rebounded by DeAndre Miller. Vaughn back out to Hill. And a tip-up will go in for Massey. I'm not so sure. It wasn't really off the defensive player, but they were both there.
Assist Wilmer.
And a floater here, no good. Sproles able to get up and grab that rebound for Cooper. They work it up the left side. Now Vaughn turns, goes to the corner for Hill, but it won't drop. And Sproles was fouled as he went for that rebound. Another look and we'll see. They announced it as being for DeAndre Miller, so maybe it was just off the defender there. Yeah, it was. So not Massey's bucket. DeAndre Miller will get it. And I thought Maple Grove really got away with a foul on the initial shot, too.
You know, Cooper having a difficult time scoring from the perimeter with 5 minutes to go left in the half. So they got to continue to maybe take it to the basket, try to draw some fouls and get, earn some points from the charity stripe. They're on their home court with 5 minutes to go in the first half. Only 14 points on the board, which I'm sure they're surprised at because they do have that speed and athleticism to really force the issue and put up big points.
Free throw good again by Sproles. So Cooper cuts it to a 5-point deficit now at 20-15. And we will get a body foul there out defending as DeAndre Miller whistled for that one. So Rainey to the free throw line here for the Crimson. And he hits. He's 3 for 3 at the line. Justice coming back in for Cooper. And Rainey making him count at the line there. 22-15 Grove. Massey to Hill, looking to attack, off the glass, but wouldn't go, and Batiste rebounds. Batiste posting and wanted that ball, didn't get it. Now Lim. They get a little bunched up, but got the pass away. Rainey now getting it to Batiste. Has Vaughn on him, and it was knocked away. They go to the court, and it'll be a tie-up. Vaughn probably did a smart thing. There's a lot smaller guy. Tried to draw the charge. They didn't give it to him, but they do end up ultimately getting the tie-up. So Maple Grove fans have made the short journey. Maple Grove and Cooper don't necessarily play in a lot of sports, so the schools, really not that far apart. And they played last year as well. And now it's Vaughn turning, and looked like he turned his ankle almost, or stumbled a little bit. Now Lynn. Lim getting it over to Rainey. His short floater short. Batiste the rebound, and he's fouled. Batiste will head to the free throw line. He's proven to be a guy tough. Maple Grove really doesn't have much size, but he's got a little bit of size and then a little bit of hops, a little bit of strength. He's looking like he's going to be their main inside threat this year.
He does a good job posting up. He seals his man deep, gives himself a chance to, get closer to the basket. But, if Massey's out on the perimeter, Cooper's very limited in terms of switching on Batiste. It'll be very difficult. You saw right there, Vaughn, Cambon trying to take that charge, trying to sell it. Just unfortunately couldn't get there, but that's going to happen all night.
In and out there. We said not a ton of size for Maple Grove, but even less really for Cooper. Batiste is about 6'7". I'm not sure he's quite that tall. I was thinking more like 6'5" or so, but, and I think I said errantly to that effect earlier. Lim out of there with that rebound here. But then a steal. Oh, Justice, they would have had a 3-on-0, but Lim did the old reach around, slap it out, and saved his team a layup. After he turned it over, he at least kept it from being an easy 2 for Cooper.
That's when you know things are going your way. I mean, he really saved that possession. And if Cooper doesn't score on this inbound play or on this possession, they're going to feel, probably a little bit unlucky.
And they do score on a nice spin and hoop. First bucket for Jalen Justice. I was starting to wonder if we'd jinxed him by talking him up in a pregame, but 23-17 lead now for Maple Grove. Around it comes for Rainey, an open look, and that is good. It's another 3-ball for Rainey.
You think Cooper would get it figured out right now. Probably Coach Powell is going to make the adjustment at halftime, but Maple Grove really kind of running the same offense. So you see Jalen Justice knock down the 3. So Coach Powell calls this timeout. I'm sure his frustration is Maple Grove's been running the same play the last 5 or 6 possessions. So now he's getting in guys' shorts, getting in their ear, because that shouldn't happen. They're running the same play. There's a guard exchange. They've been switching, so there shouldn't be any confusion in terms of someone being open on the perimeter.
Yeah, and that was a pretty open look. I mean, you obviously thinking that if you're reading that right, you might get a somewhat of an open look, but not that open.
Yeah, not that open.
So 26-20 after back-to-back threes. Rainey for Maple Grove, and then Jalen Justice for Cooper. And Maple Grove has had the lead for most of the night. They've been right around this, bouncing back and forth, 6-8 points for the last several minutes here. Under 3 to go in this opening half.
For Cooper, you just don't want to panic. Being down 6 is kind of a good thing because it keeps your sense of urgency high because you're trying to cut into the lead before half. So they just don't need to panic. They just need to continue the ball pressure, maybe get a better understanding on how to handle that Maple Grove transition offense, and they should be fine.
Into Batiste, shoveled it over to Stensland, and he knocks it down from just inside the lane.
Like the way he got up off the floor, that Stenson just really quick and explosive off that floor.
First bucket for him, one of the captains there. Knocked loose. Vaughn trying to get it back, and he does. Then it was tipped again, and here comes Maple Grove. Rainey, Batiste gathers and scores. Batiste has had a nice first half here with 8 points, and it's a 10-point lead, biggest for Maple Grove now at 30-20. Justice drives, sets up Massey, and they swing it around. Burns will take a 3 from the right side, but it's short. Maple Grove able to save it, and they come back the other way. Rainey. Wilner looking for Batiste, cutting, and up off the glass and good again.
Perfectly timed. Coach Schroeder made that call right there. Rainey able to set that good screen, and Batiste cutting to the basket.
Down to the corner, Justice shooting short. Sproles is there for the rebound, and that won't drop. So a 12-point Crimson lead here, under a minute and a half to go now in this opening half. Dreyer looking to the top, and they swing it around. Here they go again, that screen cross. Batiste had it knocked loose this time, though, and Burns comes up with it. It'll be a tie-up. Kind of a quick call. Bull Powell didn't exactly agree, nor did Burns. And Maple Grove gets it back. So the Crimson get the ball right back. Aki Moba, number 14, reporting in here for Cooper. And then we'll get a foul out on the wing. Going to be against Cooper.
Rainey got away with a hook there.
Yeah.
Referee didn't catch that. I'd like to see Cooper maybe look inside. Give Massey some touches, kind of force Batiste to play some defense. He really hasn't had to defend anyone low post. He's just been in the middle of the paint and controlling any kind of dribble drives. But I'd like to see Cooper go down low a little bit instead of just relying on dribble penetration. Maybe set up a play where they get it low post and they can attack their inside their inside post players.
Now, there was a question on the foul. The referee came over and signaled 2-4, but they don't have a 24 out there. It was supposed to be 1-4, and they got that corrected. Rainey missed the first one, gets the second one to drop, though, and it's a 33-20 Crimson lead. Rolls handing it off to Malba. Gets it back here. Like Cooper would like to at least, get something good going late in this half to come in feeling a little bit better at halftime.
Looks like they're just going to hold for one. And
Justice, Maple Grove content to just let him dribble since they've got the 13-point lead.
Well, this is dangerous, though, because now Maple Grove, they're set, you understand? And so it looks like he wants to maybe take them off the bounce, but now Maple Grove has a read on it. So it would have been maybe a little bit more effective if they would have attacked, with maybe some ball movement. But now Maple Grove, they can see what you're trying to do.
Burns forced into a tough one, and it's short, and we come to halftime. And it's a good first half for the visitors as Maple Grove will carry a 33-20 lead into halftime of tonight's contest here on CCX. We'll have first half highlights and more basketball for you coming up in just a moment.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood, or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Maybe he's really focused.
Hey, Michael. Michael. Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
And welcome back here to Cooper High School. Maple Grove playing a pretty solid first half on the road as they lead it by a score of 33-20, along with former Gopher and Providence Academy coach Ariel McDonald. I'm Jay Wilcox. And what were your impression overall of that first half?
My impression was Cooper came out a little sluggish. The game started off a little sluggish, but Maple Grove was able to find their rhythm just in transition. Cooper having a real difficult time getting to the basket, so it's been very difficult for them to do that. And so maybe coming into halftime, Coach Powell will make some adjustments. I'd like to see them attack the low post more, force Maple Grove post players to play some defense because they've been doing a really good job keeping the Cooper players out the lane. So if you're Maple Grove, continue to do what you're doing. You know, maybe cut down on some of the turnovers, but stay alert to the dribble penetration that Cooper's going to try to do in the second half. And for Cooper, they got to get into some transition. They have no rhythm right now. Maple Grove really doing a good job forcing half-court offense. So if you're Cooper, they got to get up and down the floor.
Let's look at some first half highlights from this contest tonight. It was a pretty slow start offensively, really, for both teams until Maple Grove got into a little bit better of a flow. You see Rainey driving this ball and able to finish with the left hand. He had a really nice first half for them, not only standing up to the Cooper pressure D, but getting a lot of points himself. As you see the jumper knocked down there by Dreyer. The other end, Vaughn, a very nice feed here. Warren gets the reverse layup to go, plus the foul for the Hawks. And at that point, they started to get going a little bit, but it didn't really continue. They dumped it down inside there, and Wilner getting his bucket. Batiste kicking it back out, and Lim knocking it down from the corner right over in front of us. And here's Rainey stepping out and nailing a three-pointer there. There's Rainey knocking down another for the Crimson. And then that was answered immediately by Justice, seeing them back off him, and he was able to pop that one and able to get it to go. You see Rainey with that 13-point first half, and Batiste with 10, far and away the leaders there for Maple Grove. And Miller, 6 points, and Justice 5. The Jalen's getting it done for Cooper, but they're going to need to pick it up here, down by 13. So our second half of basketball is coming up here in just a moment from Cooper High School. You're watching boys basketball action on CCX Sports.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood, or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat?
1 in 5 children struggles with hunger in America. Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Happy holidays and welcome back here to Cooper High School. Maple Grove leading the Hawks by a score of 33-20 here on CCX Sports, but obviously plenty of basketball to go here. And for Cooper, I think when you come into this half, as much you want to have a sense of urgency, but at the same time you have to realize you can't make up 13 all at once. You have to just have good possessions and kind of stack them one after the other and hope to chip away. And obviously with this much time to go, they're far from out of it.
I kind of look at it like take it in threes in terms of, if you can score 3 possessions, get a couple of stops, get a stop, score a couple more times, get a stop, but to try to get it all in one possession is going to be difficult. Cooper hadn't had a chance to warm up. Coach Powell used the whole timeout, I'm sure, to get his guys in line. But if you're Cooper, you just want to come out nice and easy. You're not going to get all the points back in one possession. You want to move the ball, let the system work for itself, and really just start on the defensive end. If you can, maybe Coach Powell will come out in some full court pressure. If you can get some steals, get some transition baskets, that'll probably ease and settle the players down a little bit because, Maple Grove has been very stingy in the first half in terms of letting you get to the paint. So if you're Cooper, just take it possession by possession and hopefully you can get back in the game.
Justice over to Hill, and he swings it across to Miller and now Burns. And Justice lets it rip for 3. Not a bad start here for Cooper as Justice makes his 3rd field goal. 2 of them have been 3s, and they come with pressure, and they do get the steal right away. Hill all the way, layup is good.
Justice, I don't know if you saw the no-look there, but I did because I have a great angle. That was a nice pass right there.
And that's what Maple Grove did not want to be happening, turning it over out high. There's Massey, a block on Batiste. Maple Grove gets it back though, and Rainey will bring it back out. And I thought Maple Grove might see a little more intense defensive pressure here, and maybe a few gambles like that one that Hill just took, just to try and get things, a little more frantic.
You want to take chances. It's the only way to get back into the game.
Lim, nice drive and dish, and Batiste able to lay it in. So the lead is back to 10 here for Maple Grove. Burns faking the handoff, kept his dribble alive. Now Massey. Massey swinging it nicely over to Miller. Won't go. Bounces around and in. It's a 3-pointer for Jalen Miller.
So now that's an 8-2 run right now for Cooper. Coming out of the second half with no warm-up, but now playing with a sense of urgency, it looks like.
They were being warmed up in the locker room by Coach Powell, I think, right?
I'm sure it's enough heat in there to keep everybody warm.
And they have played themselves really right back into this one right away. Here's the lob for Batiste, no good, but he was fouled as Maple Grove worked the ball to the top of the key. That was a pretty on-target throw for how far of a lob that was. And they'll get Massey for a bump. He could see what was coming, and he tried to stop it. Not a whole lot of contact, but when the guy's already up in the air and you get your hand into his midsection, it was easy to look at as a foul. Batiste not able to make the free throw, however.
Coach Powell pleading his case there because he's saying he didn't see the foul also.
Second one is good, so Crimson by 8, but you can feel a little change in the tempo and the momentum a little bit here. Cooper's come out strong to start the second half. Jalen Miller handing it over to Hill. Hill looking for a driving lane, and he was fouled as he tried to split between a couple of defenders. And we'll see if they call it a shooting foul or not. It's going to go against Ian Lim, and it looks like it will indeed be 2 free throws for Nate Hill.
Nate Hill, when he sees a gap, he's going to try to explode through it. So if you're Maple Grove guards, you want to be able to keep him in front of you, because if he gets any kind of angle, he's going to attack. And he's not afraid of the contact. In fact, he prefers the contact because that just makes him feel more comfortable.
Short on that second free throw, however. And so Hill not able to cash in from the line. Stenlin in a little bit of trouble here, but he got it ahead to Lim. Rainey, tough shot there, and Maple Grove loses it. So right there, Cooper doesn't get a steal or anything, but they succeeded in making Maple Grove speed up to the point where they threw up a bad shot.
And also, Maple Grove's not running offense now. Now they're just playing basketball, they're hooping, and that's not Maple Grove's calling card. They like to play half-court basketball. Yeah, they can get out and transition and create and do some nice things, but their calling card is great half-court offense. And Coach Schroeder, throughout the number of years, I've earned a great deal of respect for him because he does prepare his kids well, and they run the system quite effectively.
Hill giving it over now. Jalen Miller flashes out to the top. Hill with it out on the right wing here. 15 minutes to go in the ball game. 36-28 Maple Grove, although Cooper has come out strong to begin this half on an 8-3 run. Hill will shoot a three. That's in and out, and Batiste grabbing the rebound.
Maple Grove going under that screen there, so that's showing Hill that they don't have respect for his outside shooting.
Knocked loose by Hill. Now Massey pushes it ahead to Nathan Hill. Jump stop, and he scores.
So physical. Gotta like a kid like that. Just puts his body on you. Never leaves. Just relentless. I like his change of pace, his speed.
A triple team comes. They got it into the front court, though. And a step-up three there, knocked down by Dreyer. So that was a big one for Maple Grove. Back the other way, Massey for the dunk.
And that might ignite the crowd. That's one of those plays that'll get you, crunk. And Coach Schroeder, he's upset. They make a nice three-point shot, and they had players back. But Cooper not putting their head down. Here's Dreyer just spotting up around the perimeter, able to knock it down. And the sin is that they didn't respond and get back on defense, and now Cooper showing a little bit of their football skills, and Massey goes all the way to the basket and just slams dunks it.
So Massey, his first field goal, and a total of 4 points now as he got up and able to finish that one. And so a 7-point game, but you can see some, a little bit of concern for Maple Grove right now, but we're being forced into what they want us to do a little bit. And it's, it's easier said. We talked about it at halftime. It's easier said than done sometimes. You say take care of the ball and don't turn it over, but when there's a double or even a triple team coming at you, sometimes it can overwhelm you a little bit.
Especially, the kind of athletes that Cooper have. I mean, they're aggressive, and you can feel their energy when they're coming at you. And, for some players, sometimes difficult to handle. I was watching Coach Schroeder during the timeout while he was diagramming, and it looks like he's trying to get his players to understand that middle is open, but you have to be careful with your passes because that's where Cooper's kind of running up your backside, and they're getting those steals. So it looked like he told them to be more conscious about throwing it to the middle, but also look to the outside because that's where the open players are at.
Looking to work it up without putting it on the deck that much and pass it over that zone trap. And Lim was in trouble, but got it to Rainey. And now Stenson will shoot a three here, and that's one way to make them pay. They've done that twice in a row now. Cooper being very aggressive, but they're able to calmly hit jumpers over them, and now back to a 10-point game. Justice going to shoot that one. Tough shot there off the back of the iron. Hill kept it alive. Massey underneath. Justice for the layup.
Now Cooper bringing that full court pressure, really being aggressive.
Rainey into the front court, and he was fouled right there. Well, and I tell you too, when Cooper, it's something you don't always think about, but when you're not scoring, it's harder to set up your press too. And in the first half, they just didn't have enough makes to get that going.
That's a good point, Jay. Now, with them being able to put the ball through the basket, they can turn around and get their defense set, and that's been very effective for them in this second half.
Rainey down the baseline, hit the bottom of the backboard. Vaughn the rebound, and he got it out to Burns, and here they go. Justice is going to jack a three, and it's good.
Well, the days of old school basketball have passed. Now, guys, you know, it can be a 3-on-2 fast break, and the guy's going to pull up for a three.
Lim kicking it over, and this time no good for Stensland, and here come the Hawks. They've cut it to 5 and a chance to bring it down a little further yet. Here comes Hill on the drive. Oh, and it won't go, but he'll shoot.
And you know he's not fast, but he changes speeds, and he does a good job. He'll lull you to sleep, and then he'll explode out of a move as you see a nice little between-the-leg crossover. And even though the player who's defending him is probably quicker than him, he was able to use his size and that strength to seal him off. I know he wanted that and one there, but now he has an opportunity to knock down 2.
We talked about Burns and Sproles, and Hill had a fantastic season on the football field as well for the Hawks. And I think, you know, he maybe didn't get quite the notoriety coming into the season as Burns and Sproles, but he was certainly one of their most valuable guys all year long. Just, he kind of plays football the way he played basketball. Just a tough, hard-nosed guy. So 42-38. Cooper has closed the gap in a hurry, and the momentum going their way. We talked about, too, you know, Maple Grove had such a veteran team last year that some of these road challenges, you know, didn't really faze them as much because those guys had played so much basketball on the varsity level, where it's a little bit different for this group, but they're learning here. You get a foul call against the Hawks as they went into Batiste, and he had a much smaller guy on him, and Warren will be called for the foul.
But that was a smart foul by Warren. He didn't allow him to get into a move where he was going to the basket and maybe force to force him to shoot from the free throw line, but just a good foul. At least they set up their defense now.
Here they go to Batiste, and he'll hammer it home for Maple Grove.
You know, I've covered Maple Grove basketball for a couple years, and Coach Schroeder does excellent coming out of bounds plays.
Here's Burns answering at the other end. Not quite a dunk, but a lay in there. And we get a timeout taken here by Maple Grove.
It happened again. Here's Crimson. I mean, they do a really good job with their inbound underneath. For years, Coach Schroeder's done a great job, but he's angry again because once again they score, and now all of a sudden their opponent comes down and they have a dunk opportunity, and so that's just got to be very, very frustrating. And as you were talking about last year's team, where you're talking about the Pitchfords, the Hutchinsons, and the Davisons, that doesn't happen to them. You know, they're experienced enough to understand when we score, we have to get back. And so Coach Schroeder teaching these young players with this new face of Maple Grove basketball, these are just teachable moments.
And we talked a moment ago about how frustrated Coach Powell was, and Nick Schroeder was about as mad as I've seen him in a long time when he stood up and, like you said, when they gave up the layup right after they had scored. You know, no matter who you are, what team you are, high school basketball, you can't be caught celebrating too long because it's going to cost you at the other end.
Absolutely.
And they'll throw it ahead here. Batiste will kick it back out. Stensland to the baseline. And picked up his dribble, gets it out of there. Maple Grove flustered a little bit, but they recovered their composure there.
They cut this to now 4, so you can see the energy picking up. They smell the blood in the water.
Down to the corner, Batiste wanted that ball. He's got a smaller guy on him again, and Vaughn. Dreyer. Now they'll kick it around to Lim. He thought about it, and he drives the ball to the hoop and lays it in. Nice move.
Good patience, though. You know, that's Maple Grove basketball. Be patient. Allow the ball to swing from one side to the other. And you see a dribble drive lane, try to attack.
And Justice was fouled as he went to the baseline. Another look at Lim. Did a nice job. It was like they're trying to force him baseline, but then the help got there too late. And sometimes I think you can get a little carried away with overplaying to the point where you give up a driving lane like that. Dreyer will pick up the foul as Justice not able to hit the first. Wilner coming back in for Maple Grove. Hill comes back in for Cooper. Both teams have expended a lot of energy early in the second half. Cooper to catch up. Maple Grove trying to fight off the challenge.
Especially this tough press. I mean, Cooper's now picking up full court, and they're running and jumping, and you don't know where it's coming from. It could come from Massey. He had a couple fouls, you know, trying to trap in the run and jump defensive scheme, but Maple Grove, you know, still hanging in there.
Wilner's pass picked off. Hill. Little stop and go move, bounces off the defender and scores.
Doesn't affect him. And you could see he slowed down and initiated the contact. He's just one of those guys, it's better to kind of stay off his body, because the more you're on his body, he gets a better feel for you.
And the fact that he made the nice jump stop, I think, kept it from being a charge there, too. Back to a 4-point lead for Maple Grove. Cooper coming strong here early in the second. Rainey, kind of got bailed out maybe as he was off balance there. And they'll get Burns for the foul. Another look at Cooper. Hill with a nice steal, and watch him gather himself and just kind of win the little battle there. Now, if you're Maple Grove, you're saying that was a charge. If you're Cooper, you're saying, no, that's a good offensive move.
Right.
Sproles will come back into the Cooper lineup here, and Vaughn will check out. Inbounded to Stensland. Now they go to the edge of the lane, kick it back out. Stensland will shoot it from the wing, no good, and a foul on the rebound going against Cooper. They got a little bit outsized, and Miller trying to fight off Zach Bradbury and ended up being called for the foul.
But these are good fouls that Cooper are making. You know, they're aggressive fouls. They're fouls where they're trying to get rebounds. They're trying to get in passing lanes. And the one thing you hate as a coach is just getting stupid fouls.
Here's the drive, and that's going to be a charge, it looks like. See if both officials had the same call there. Yes, they did. And definitely Dreyer driving it from out on the wing there, and your coach expects that to be a charge if you're the defense there when he left his feet from that far away.
And you got a player like Hill, you know, he loves the contact. I mean, for him, they're out here playing football, so I'm sure he's probably leading the team in charges because he doesn't mind getting his body on people.
So Cooper down 4 and a chance to cut into it again here as we approach 10 minutes to play in this one. This one tightened up in a hurry after Maple Grove had led by 13 at halftime. Sproles handing it over to Hill. Back out to Burns. They quickly swing it around to Hill. He's going to drive it to the hoop, and a foul on Maple Grove as he was able to just slide to the side a little bit to avoid the charge. And Rainey, I think, will pick up the foul. And now it's Maple Grove's turn to be hot a little bit on the call.
And I mean, Rainey, he was there, he was set, but Hill kind of, you know, changing his direction, changing the angle of attacking the rim, and now it forces the ref to call a block instead of a charge.
And Hill's free throw is good. It's always kind of been known as the toughest call in basketball, that block charge thing. And the official taking the time, I mean, he's explaining they've been patient because they're getting an earful from each coach at times. And you well know, coaching the Providence Academy team, that you want them to listen, you know, to the point you're making, and they've been good about it.
And when you make a call on one end, you're expecting them to get the same call on the other end. And sometimes, you know, a smart referee will recognize that and maybe explain it to you and be patient instead of, you know, just hitting you with a technical foul.
Rainey handling his team up by 3, but they haven't had trouble scoring here in the second half after Cooper's really turned up the screws defensively. Rainey whipping it down low, no good, and Hill the rebound. And then knocked loose. Hill gets it. Justice driving it instead. Wow, a lot of contact there and no foul. And Maple Grove will get the rebound. Wilner to Stensland. Batiste is getting a rest right now, and they kind of miss his presence out there, it feels like. Stensland the drive, and he finishes for the layup.
People are looking a little winded. You know, they've put all this effort trying to cut into that lead, and right now, you know, some of the players look like they're breathing hard. Maple Grove hanging in there. You know, they got a chance to get Batiste on the bench, so he's getting a blow, and that's going to make them feel good as he re-enters the game.
Batiste and Lim come back in. Massey back in for Cooper. So 5-point Crimson lead as they inbound to Hill. Jalen Miller. And here's Justice, open for a three, and he hits it. Justice has really heated up in the second half. That's his 4th bucket in this half, 3 of them from beyond the arc. Lim will give it up to Stensland. He's going to stop and pop, and he hits a long 2.
Much needed basket right there, and that was a tough shot.
4-point lead for Maple Grove. Cooper has been knocking on the door. Hill giving it up. Justice, another 3 and another bucket. It's a 1-point game. Jalen Justice beating up for the Hawks, and they pull it within 50-49.
Cooper taking advantage of those Maple Grove guards going underneath screens and picks. So, you know, they have to make an adjustment.
Stensland picked up the dribble. Oh, and they just barely got it over to Dreyer. Lim with Hill all over him.
They got a mismatch in there. You got Batiste, he's got Hill guarding him. They need to get it inside to him.
Instead, they'll take the long jumper, no good. It's batted over to Wilner. Just gets it out of there. And now Lim. Maple Grove backs it out and trying to get into their offense again. A little pick and roll down low for Wilner, but Massey read it from the weak side and gets the steal. Cooper a chance to take the lead. Miller. Hill, and here's Justice. Oh, a shot fake this time. He'll drive the ball and a block. Oh, and he hit the floor hard. Lim will be called for the foul. And Jalen Justice is hurting. I hope that wasn't his head that hit the floor. Great shot fake. Everybody in the gym thought he was shooting a 3, and then he went down hard as he fell over Lim. And he's able to get up to his feet. And it looks like it probably was his head. Let's hope he's all right. The first question is, will he be able to stay in and shoot free throws? But the answer is going to be no. So Cambon will come in to shoot. Chance to give his team the lead. And misses badly. That's kind of a tough spot to come in. You know, you just off the bench and look to shoot a free throw there, but that one wasn't pretty. Second one.
Cheering him on, though.
And he gets that one to go, and we are even up at 50 apiece, and a timeout taken. And let's hope that Jalen Justice is going to be okay. It was, you know, Lim was just trying to take a charge. Nothing bad about the play or anything. It just got his feet tangled over him as he went to the hoop there. It was a very nice up fake. I mean, I certainly thought Justice was shooting that 3 ball.
And, you know, he just knocked down a couple of 3-point shots, so now you have to respect his jumper. That was a smart move. I actually thought he was going to pump fake and maybe sidestep and maybe shoot the 3 and, you know, maybe a heat check shot just to see if he's still on fire.
It was a good basketball play, but I guess Jalen right now is probably wishing he had done that instead, because he's got a little, and obviously there's been much more awareness about concussions and things like that too. So the trainer is going to gonna, give him some questions and really look him over and make sure that he's all right. Turned into a great ball game here. Cooper struggled late in that first half. Maple Grove kind of pulled away to a 13-point lead, but you could kind of sense right away to begin the second that Cooper was going to be making a push, and came out. They just looked like a different team after halftime.
When you're down 13, there's nowhere to go but up, and Cooper's done a good job coming out that second half, because I was a little worried. I generally like to see players warm up so you can get a feel, a rhythm going back onto the floor, but they came out guns a-blazing.
And they set up full court pressure here. And Sproles almost had a steal, but now Maple Grove has numbers. Rainey digging over to Batiste, fakes, goes up and scores.
Looks like Vaughn twisted his ankle there.
Oh no. Couple injuries in a row here for Cooper. Trainer has to leave Jalen Justice for a moment to run out and tend to Cambon as he came down. Ooh, those are the ones you hate to see. Basketball, it's a basketball injury that you see often, because you're obviously jumping in traffic a lot, and you might land on somebody's foot or land just awkwardly even on your own. See it again as he got the up fake here.
Right ankle.
He did a good job of avoiding Batiste, but it really rolled as his foot hit the back of Batiste's foot and just turned. Ouch.
That hurts. We got 6 minutes left, got a 2-point ball game. Cooper really doing a good job fighting back to get in the game. A couple of unfortunate injuries, that they've had in this last couple minutes, but sometimes that'll make a team respond too.
I think it probably hurts Cooper's momentum a little bit here too, as they kind of gotten the crowd into it a little bit and gotten themselves into it, but they've got a fairly deep team, it seems like, but still you hate to see anybody get hurt like this, and Vaughn going to be helped to his feet, but I would guess from looking at that replay that he's probably not going to be able to continue to play tonight. Certainly appears that way.
Yeah, they need to get that in a bucket of ice right away so that swelling doesn't, it doesn't swell up. Because they got some games later on this week.
Yeah, they play again Friday and Saturday, both on the road. Yeah. Prairie Seeds Academy and at Burnsville in the Southside Showcase. Prairie Seeds came over here and beat Cooper last year in a game that we did on CCX, and so the Hawks will want a little revenge there. Burns will come back in, and Vaughn will sit down. So 2-point lead for Maple Grove after that Batiste bucket. 6:10 to play here in the ball game. Justice is back in, so that's good news for Cooper. He went down a moment ago after falling over a defender on that drive. And he'll kind of rolling that ball around with his hand there. I thought he was going into a little globetrotter deal.
He's so confident with the ball. He feels like if he loses it, you're not going to take it from him, because he's going to just attack the basketball and you.
Justice again driving it into the lane. No good. Massey, a nice rebound, scores, and a foul. Cooper will have a chance to take the lead as Massey battled through the contact to finish.
And Massey, he's been waiting for that all night. He's been doing a really good job trying to attack the offensive rebound. Maple Grove in the first half did a really good job keeping him off the board, but he's a relentless competitor.
And Massey, an air ball on the free throw try, so he stayed tied up.
Now watch, he's going to go get another steal. He's probably feeling a little ashamed. Now he's going to make a real, probably an extra play here.
Rainey had it knocked away. It's off Rainey's foot. It'll be Cooper basketball. Boy, they had numbers there too, but they got somebody, I think it was Hill, reached in and got a piece of it.
Cooper has the chance to take the lead.
Been a long climb back, but they've slowly but surely chipped away at that lead, now tying it up. Miller to Massey. Right back to Miller, and he has a driving lane, but he hits the side of the glass. They thought he was fouled, but Dreyer will come into the front court. Rainey gets the return pass here for Maple Grove in a 1-4 set here. Got to be careful of that 5 count too. And there's Massey getting a hand on it. Justice ahead to Hill for the layup in the lead.
So Maple Grove right now, they're not running a fluid offense. They're stalling a little bit, and sometimes that'll stall your team as well. So they need to get back to how they started the beginning of the game, moving the ball, maybe running that brush screen where they use the baseline screen for the inside player and get maybe the ball back into Batiste. So, but Cooper, you know, they're doing a good job of pressuring too.
Yeah, Maple Grove does look a little tentative right now.
Yeah.
Like nobody really wants to be the guy to step up and be aggressive and shoot the ball. Rainey picked up his dribble. Batiste cut off on the baseline, and timeout, I think, taken. Maple Grove, they could see they were in some trouble over there and use the timeout. So they are no longer protecting a lead. They are trailing it by 2. 4:12 to go as you get another look at the last hoop for Cooper. The steal, Massey knocking it to Justice, and then Hill out and running.
Simple basketball. Play the passing lanes, look to get a steal, and then you can get out in transition. And so far in the second half, that's what Cooper's been doing, really pressuring full court, taking some chances. And sometimes when you're down 13 points, you got to take chances.
You know, it's been interesting, too, because I think they've been more aggressive defensively, yet they've fouled less than they did in the first half. So they've kind of had a good combination there, you know, of doing things to force some turnovers without getting too much into the body.
Now, this is where Coach Schroeder is very clever. He always comes out of timeouts with maybe a new set or maybe an adjustment on one of their offensive attacks. So just watching him the last couple of years, I've always been impressed on whenever there's a dead ball situation, he tweaks something and they always end up getting a layup or an open 3-point shot. So Cooper has to pay attention out this timeout, maybe come out zone, because I'm sure Maple Grove's not expecting that. Cooper hasn't shown zone all night. Always jump back into man, but you want to clog up that paint because Coach Schroeder's very good at getting his guys to move and create a passing lane for an easy basket inside.
So Rainey to inbound here for Maple Grove. Stensland, they wanted to go to Batiste, but not quite the angle to get it there. Stensland picking up the dribble, a little back cut by Wilner, but he brought the ball right into Burns, who just yanked it away. Now we'll see how Cooper plays with the lead. They are up by 2. Other night against Roosevelt, they kind of were taking some shots maybe they shouldn't have been taking late. We're not to that point yet, but I think they had a chance to kind of seal that game up and didn't do it. Justice, the shot no good. Rainey rebounds.
Yeah, this is in favor of Maple Grove right here. Pushing the pace. Doesn't mean you have to shoot the basketball, but if you work it from side to side like they're doing, maybe Cooper will be out of position and you'll find yourself with an open look.
Batiste flashing free, but raked away from him. Great hustle by Massey.
Great hustle.
And then I think we had a timeout granted for Cooper. Massey saved a hoop. Batiste was ready to gather and try and dunk this ball. And watch the great hands by Massey. Raked it free, and then he just dives headlong on the floor to get it. And he didn't allow himself to be tied up there. If he had just kind of kept the ball still, Batiste probably would have tied him up, but he just kept aggressive with it, kept it moving.
Coach Powell, he likes aggressive kids, and he doesn't tolerate softness. If you're going to play the game, he wants you to play aggressive. He wants you to be physical and to play with a chip on your shoulder. And you can see Massey, he had every intention of getting that steal. He got his hands on the ball, but he didn't give up on the play. He secured the ball and, was able to give his team a timeout.
Yeah, and if you're Maple Grove right there, you're kind of thinking missed opportunity because we really got what we wanted there. We had a nice flash to the lane by Batiste, and he looked like he was going to have a layup or dunk there, but he just, had to take that one dribble, and that was enough for Massey to get in and rake it out. So 3:04 to go. Foul situation. Maple Grove has committed 7. Cooper has only committed 5. So not yet in the bonus for Maple Grove. And now Cooper's going to walk it slowly into the front court here. They are the team now protecting the lead. And Hill will be called for the travel. A little stutter step as he came to a stop.
Just lost his footing there. Well.
Oh, we had an offensive foul against Maple Grove away from the ball. And it's going to be against Rainey. That'll be his 4th, and that'll be free throws here for Cooper.
You can see Cooper's physicality is wearing down Maple Grove a little bit.
I'm sorry, it won't be free throws there. So Hill gets it out top now to Massey. 2:40 to play. Cooper has struggled some at the line tonight. So Maple Grove, you know, if you see a chance, well, now they get a steal anyway. Stenson will go all the way, missed the layup, and a nice rebound by Jalen Miller. Now Justice ahead to Massey, gathers and dunks.
Well, as Maple Grove had a great scoring opportunity there, but just unable to finish the layup. And then, you know, Cooper, they don't waste any time. They look up the court. Now they get an easy layup.
Inbounded to Batiste. Now Rainey, Maple Grove trailing by 4. Second half has been all Cooper after Maple Grove had a 13-point halftime lead. Dreyer stops and pulls the trigger for 3.
That is a big 3 because if Maple Grove wins the game, we're going to remember that 3. Being down 4 and Dreyer just steps into a 3-point shot. Let's see if Maple Grove comes back with some energy and a good defensive stop.
Well, you talked about it earlier with Cooper, and now it sort of seemed like for Maple Grove, to a certain extent, when you're down big, the pressure comes off just a little bit because you think, well, we've got to score. Somebody's got to shoot it.
It is a psychological difference, and if you're able to understand it, you can relax and play. And so now Cooper's playing tentative and passive, trying to protect the lead, and Maple Grove now is playing more aggressive.
Hill driving it. He was fouled by Lim, which will be his 3rd. But again, you know, this point in the game, not necessarily such a bad thing. This is a big step up by Dreyer. You see Burns wasn't really respecting or thinking he was going to shoot that shot, and he backed off a little bit.
But you like the heart, the heart to take that shot because, you know, with 1:15, many players maybe don't want to step into that kind of 3-point shot. They maybe want to work the ball around, but, you know, he had the courage to take it.
Hill is only 3 for 8 at the line tonight, too. So Maple Grove right there, you don't really mind that foul too awful much. It was the 9th team foul, so it's still a 1-and-1. The lead is 1 for Cooper. And gets the bounce. That's the home court roll right there. 57-55 Hawks.
This is why you practice your free throws for these moments. The game comes down to small things, especially in a tight game like this. Taking care of the ball, rebounding, and making your free throws.
And second one is also good. And Hill coming up big in the clutch right there. 58-55 Hawks, and a timeout here. Maple Grove now. You know, you certainly don't have to be in a hurry if you're Maple Grove. You don't need a 3 right now, but you just get into your offense and look for a good shot.
And if I'm Coach Powell, I'll set up full court pressure to slow Maple Grove, cut into some of this 1:15 seconds. If maybe you can keep them behind, you know, on this side of the court, 8 seconds maybe, and then they're forced to maybe start their offensive attack. You know, you can keep them off rhythm a little bit, but the aggressive style of play that Cooper has been playing with their trapping and really running and jumping has paid off for him. So I would say, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I think it's always that, you know, the fine balance that as coaches you guys go through. You know, how do you change down the stretch, or do you just be who you are and play out through the game? I mean, obviously little things are going to be tweaked, but I think sometimes you see that where a team, you know, maybe backs off the gas pedal too early or things like that.
But, you know, Coach Powell has probably a better pulse for his team than maybe Coach Schroeder, because these are new players that are coming to Maple Grove. And for Coach Powell, he's been coaching these kids. So I think it's based on feel. If you feel your players have been playing well and whatever defensive scheme you have, if you've been seeing them execute it, then I say, you know, why not?
And indeed, they do come with full court pressure. Stensland getting set to throw it in here for Maple Grove. Rainey able to get to it. Now you maybe drop back and don't take as many chances. They just play solid man-to-man up court once they got it inbounded.
Oh, they got a mismatch inside.
And they get it to Batiste right here. He's going to kick it back out and then repost.
He's got to go quick. Yeah, he's got to go quick. They're getting it to him, but he's got to, you know, he's got to be more aggressive. He's got to go quick.
Stensland picks up the dribble, dropped it off. Layup is good and a foul. Rainey able to get the circus shot to go there and a foul, and they'll have a chance to tie it.
You know, Cooper does everything right. They make their switches. They keep people in front of him. And Rainey just able to find a crack. And Hill, instead of really getting his body in front of him, he reaches and gets that silly tic-tac foul. Drives coaches crazy.
Rainey for the tie, and he hits. 58-58. Well, we'll see if Cooper will play for one shot here. 40 seconds to go. Kind of looks that way.
This is where you miss a kid like Cambon, because he's a good passer. You know, he can come off the dribble drive, catch guys going back door. Let's see if Cooper can hold. It looks like they're going to hold for the last second shot. I'm sure Coach Powell's going to call a timeout. He's probably got a play in his head from the pass from his Park Center days where he's ready to execute.
15 seconds remaining. And now Hill, they're not showing signs now they will use the timeout. I was going to say that maybe they were going to not go with one, but 9 seconds to play, and he will call the timeout. So interesting basketball game down the stretch here. At halftime, Cooper was looking a little frustrated. They were down 13. They quickly got back in it, and then for a little stretch there, I kind of felt like maybe they were going to put Maple Grove away, but give credit to those guys too. They came back.
I mean, you know, the last couple times these teams have matched up, they go at each other, and even when one team takes a lead, the team doesn't give up. They come back into the game. It'd be interesting to see what play they run. Probably a play for Jalen Justice. You know, he's been shooting the ball well. Maybe a dribble drive, or I could even see Hill getting it. I could see Hill maybe just taking him off the bounce, being physical, maybe try to provocate a foul at the end.
And if you're Cooper too, you know, you don't really want to go too early so that you give Maple Grove a chance to come back at the other end, but then again, you don't want to wait too long so that you're jacking up a forced three either.
If I read Coach Powell's lips correctly, it looked like he told him he wants to do a 1-4 low, so he might get a guard up top with the ball and just have everybody drop to the baseline and just take him off the bounce. And once again, a guy like Cambon, he's a great ball handler and he's kind of crafty with the basketball. Let's see if Cooper will execute it.
Hill getting him into things. Now Justice. Back to Hill, 2 seconds, has to hurry. Pull-up is short, and we're going to go to overtime. They got a decent look out of it. Maybe not exactly what they wanted there, but Hill had a shot in the edge of the lane, but couldn't get it to drop. And we are going to have extra time here tonight in the second game of the season for both teams. Maple Grove had OT on their first night as well, so they're a little accustomed to it, but this one's really turned into a great game.
You know, the key is, like, where is the spirit of the team? So if you're looking at both teams and you're looking at body language and you're looking at eyes, you're looking at both teams saying, okay, who's going to come out here and be aggressive? Who looks like they want to close out and win the game? And right now it looks like Cooper has that look in their eye. Maple Grove probably feeling like, okay, we had a 13-point lead, we blew the lead, and now we're forced into overtime. But this young team, Coach Schroeder with a lot of experience, this young team's going to learn from this. We're having two, back-to-back games in overtime. So I'm sure for coaches, we love that because we like for the kids to experience that. And it's difficult for them as they're going through it. But this is why we play the game.
Both teams, obviously have moments or reason to feel good about Cooper surging back into the lead, and then Maple Grove fighting back to tie it up when they could have folded on the road here too. So I don't know. I think the momentum, if there is one coming into overtime, is sort of a toss-up now.
Right. When Jalen Justice got injured, Cooper was affected by that, and as of yet, he's still been unable to score. So if I'm Cooper, I'm thinking, let's try to figure out a way to get him back involved, because his shooting is going to be important for them to win this game.
4 minutes up on the clock. We will have a rare second jump ball of the game. Massey and Batiste will jump it up to start it. Maple Grove won the tip to start the game. Massey swatting it ahead, and Jalen Miller will run it down. Cooper gets first possession. Hill down the baseline. Rainey did a good job of staying with it. Hill looking to create something there, now backs it out. Justice takes the handoff. Now Ante Burns. Miller will give it over to Hill. Hill, a little spin, almost had it knocked loose, now gets it out to Burns. Cooper not in a hurry, but they're looking for a little breakdown on the defense. Here's Justice shooting it short, and Batiste will rebound for the Crimson. Rainey cut off, and it's Dreyer for the lead, but that's short. Massey out of there with it. Justice attacks, no, but a foul. Stensland will pick up the foul as Jalen Justice will head to the free throw line here for Cooper.
That's a way to get yourself back in the ball game, getting out on the fast break, either making the layup or at least getting a foul so you can shoot free throws. Let's see if he's got back adjusted.
And Justice got hurt on a play kind of like that earlier, so good to see that he didn't have any fear, knowing that you just got to attack in that situation. He hits the free throw, and Cooper back in front now by a point. Makes a pair. Big free throws there for Justice. 60-58 Cooper.
It's Powell taking off that full court press, allowing Maple Grove to get in an offensive set.
Inside it goes. Wouldn't drop for Batiste, but then he was fouled trying to get the rebound, and that will be a 1-and-1 now for Maple Grove. You see the big effort by Hill, but he didn't get it. Batiste missing inside, but then was fouled. Burns will pick up the foul. It's a 1-and-1. This will be the last 1-and-1 of the night. It was the 7th team foul, or excuse me, the first 1-and-1 of the night for Maple Grove as he hits the free throw. Batiste with one more coming, a chance to tie it back up. And in and out, no good. Massey the rebound, so Cooper continues to lead it by 1. Hill on the bounce here for the Hawks. Burns will give it over to Massey. Cooper really in no hurry to shoot, and they shouldn't be. They're only up by 1, but unless Maple Grove, creates pressure on them, there's no reason to take anything but a layup here or even shoot the ball at all.
So they're going to use Massey to draw. Yep, that was smart. That was smart. They used Massey to draw Batiste out from that paint, and because Massey has the capability to handle the ball, that's a mismatch there because he can blow past Batiste. So that's a pretty smart move there.
Although I think Batiste looked like he almost wanted to foul Massey here. Free throw is good. Cooper, as I said earlier, hasn't shot the ball that great at the line, but they've made them when they counted.
Yeah, and this is the time to make them. You know, you're playing in an overtime. It's only 1:52 left. You want to be able to knock them all down.
No good on the second, but Burns grabs the rebound. Now Justice. And his pass was tipped out of bounds there. Kind of fortunate that wasn't really a lot of traffic to get that ball through. Cooper fortunate to keep it. Burns with a big rebound there to give them another possession. Hill driving it forward and then back. And we get a foul call against Lim.
You know, Cooper is very difficult to defend. There's something to be said about, you know, having physical players, and all of these kids are cut up. You know, you can just see that they're very confident and they're not afraid of contact. And for a young Maple Grove team, you can see their bodies, you know, haven't quite developed yet, but I'm sure Coach Schroeder has them in the weight room. But that is what's paying off for Cooper. It's very difficult to break Cooper's will because they're just so physical and strong.
Another thing that Hill does well, besides being so tough on the change of pace, is he keeps the dribble pretty low. A lot of guys like to get that, you know, waist-high bounce, and that's a lot easier to get in and then rake it out if you're the D. And Hill keeps it down there on the bounce. He gets a free throw to go. That makes it a three-point game. One more would make it a two-possession lead. We still got plenty of time here, 1:32, but still a difference. And he gets them both. Rainey. Massey with the block. It'll stay with Maple Grove, but Massey playing the angle well, able to get up to block that one.
It's amazing what 2 dunks does to young kids, you know. Now all of a sudden he's got some energy and he's just playing so well on the defensive end.
Inbound pass. Massey will be called for the foul, and that'll be his 4th as he got a little bit behind Batiste and then bumped him as the pass was coming in. So Batiste will shoot here for the Crimson, and the free throw is good. 19 points for him tonight, matching what he got in that opener against Rogers. It also gives them an opportunity to score with the clock stopped here if you're the Maple Grove.
Timeout, Maple Grove, full time.
Coach Schroeder going to give his players a little rest here and try to maybe think of some kind of defensive set to close out this game.
I think the question for them becomes too a little bit is how much do you gamble? You look to try and get a double team thrown on, knowing that it might work, but it also might cost you a layup.
Well, he's got to take a chance here. Hopefully he can get maybe a trap and one of his weak side defenders can get a steal here, but I'm sure he's also telling them in the event we don't get the steal, this is the player that we're going to foul. I think with Batiste, that's what he was trying to do with Massey, and he was just able to knock down the free throws, but you got to take that chance. You have to gamble and play the numbers.
I think it matters too if they get the second make here, because it'd make it back to a 2-point game. It's a little different situation. They're still in a spot where they could tie it on one possession right now. And
well, a lot of things go on in that timeout. You're setting up your defensive pressure, but you're also setting up your offensive attack as well. So you're instructing the players, if they make it or we get the rebound, let's get out in transition. Let's get some early offense and see if we can get a layup or possibly an open shot.
Batiste misses the second, and Rainey had his hands on the rebound.
They can tie this game up.
Yeah, it's going to stay with Maple Grove as that ball took an extra bounce on the rim. It was like everybody had jumped too early because it bounced again.
Massey has 4 fouls, so I would attack him because he's not going to foul.
Stensland swinging it back out, just barely got that ball there. Dreyer drives, dishes, Batiste for the layup. And they're within one.
Who do you foul now? Who do you foul?
Under a minute to play. Hill driving it down the middle and was fouled. That'll be on Dreyer. And Hill to the line.
Coach Schroeder, he was yelling and screaming to foul Burns. Burns hasn't even taken a shot attempt all game. He's mainly out here just for his physical play so he can defend Batiste. But they were just a little too late.
Hill's free throw bounces again, and he's been money down the stretch after struggling earlier. He's made 5 in a row now. Chance to make it a 3-point lead. And second one no good, and the Crimson grab the rebound as Wilner gets up for it. So 2-point lead for Cooper as Maple Grove hits the front court. Stensland picking up the dribble and a timeout taken by Maple Grove. You don't want to turn the ball over there, but at the same time picking up your dribble in that tough spot wasn't exactly what they wanted either. But now they'll get a chance to diagram a play here. These are the kind of situations that you can't really duplicate in practice. I mean, you do, you know, take the clock out and say, we're going to count it down and it's a 1-point lead or this or that, but you know it's not the same thing going against your second team as it is out here in the pressure.
Especially when you add nerves and you add fans, and so all of these things can be distracting. But coaches, good coaches, they practice these scenarios. So, and I'm sure Coach Schroeder, they've probably drilled this a couple times, and like I said, he's very clever at doing something that you haven't seen, and the kids get it and they figure it out and they're able to execute.
I think it'll be interesting to see if they're looking to attack right away. I mean, it doesn't make sense really to hold for the last shot just for a tie,
right? But
whether they really go right at it right away and try and score immediately or not. Rainey looking for the back cut. Boy, he really forced that one. Burns throwing it long to Hill. And knocked away. It almost looked like they were trying to foul him, but they got the ball instead, and then a pass up court. And we get a foul on Burns, I think, as he was defending, and Maple Grove all asking for an intentional foul, as it looked like Burns
would have to
grabbed
be
him.
intentional.
And that's what the officials are going to meet to discuss it here.
That would have to be intentional. He was by himself, and he grabbed him. So, yeah.
So this being an important call, whether it's an intentional foul, and it indeed is.
Unfortunately, that is the right call. The player was out in front, and there was no foul made on the ball. He was just alone, and probably a smart play, just didn't get away with it.
Stensland's free throw is good. Now a 1-point game and a chance to tie it. And then Maple Grove, because it was intentional, will get another opportunity with the ball.
Toughest free throws to make, too. You're talking 27 seconds. No one's on the line, and you're able to knock down 2. Maple Grove now has the momentum.
Jordan Stensland makes a big pair, and now they get the ball back because it was an intentional foul. 64-64, Crimson. Oh, boy, Hill almost had himself a steal. Rainey reaching out with the left hand, and Hill knocked it loose. Another look at this one. You see, he didn't make a clean catch, and Hill, not so sure that it didn't hit Rainey again on the way out.
Hill just all over you.
See if Maple Grove will get to the front court and then call a timeout here. Rainey bumping off Hill. Rainey for the lead. It's short. Run down though by Dreyer, and then a timeout Maple Grove. 13.7 to go in overtime. Yeah, this one's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, boys getting after it.
Maple Grove's last time out. Game kind of, momentum anyway, kind of swinging back their way a little bit after it looked like Cooper might be able to kind of put it away.
But there was Cooper in full control, had a 2-point lead, and then now an intentional foul is called. Guy goes to the free throw line, knocks down 2. they get the possession back, and now they find themselves with a chance to win the game, when just a few minutes ago it looked like that Cooper was going to be able to pull away.
Now you're in a little bit of a tough spot too if you're Cooper, in that you want to be aggressive, but you don't want to commit a foul that gives them free throws for a chance to win the game either.
Right.
But just would seem to be the obvious spot you'd want to go to if you're Maple Grove, but we'll see what they're able to draw up out of this timeout. They've got some pretty good performance down the stretch too from a couple other guys. I mean, Stensland and Dreyer have taken some big shots too. And the inbound coming to Stensland. Hill all over him there. Now to Rainey, 7 seconds. Rainey looking to get a screen. Rainey, and a foul on Massey.
Coach Powell can't believe it. Massey just needs to play honest defense there. Instead of going for the steal, he just needs to hedge and keep him in front. But now, let's say the game goes into another overtime, they'll be without Massey.
So Rainey, 3 seconds left in overtime, goes for a chance to win. Or I shouldn't say win, but take the lead anyway.
Right.
Rainey, 16 points tonight for the Crimson, and the free throw no good.
And even with Massey leaving the game, now Cooper, there's really, really small. You have, looks like Hill lined up against Batista. He might get the offensive rebound if he misses.
Rainey hits the second. Maple Grove back in front, 65-64. Timeout, Cooper. Wow, what a ball game. Massey dejected after fouling out there.
Knows he should have made a smarter play there, because his team really needs him, because let's say whatever offensive attack they make, they're going to need him to maybe offensive rebound and maybe get a tip. But looks like just 3 seconds, and this is where you could use him, because this kid can jump out the gym. So maybe if you got a back door, you could throw an alley-oop. Now they're going to have to use some kind of screening to maybe free up, let's say maybe Jalen Justice, and maybe he can knock down the open jumper.
Boy, and with this little bit of time left too, I think the inbound pass here is crucial, that you get it up the court at least a little way, because you're going to run out of time if you get the ball in and have to dribble any distance.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. If maybe Coach Schroeder, he's been packing the paint, so maybe he'll come out to half court, and so they can't get a quick pass up the court. But at the same time, they want to keep people in front of them. They don't want anything over their head. You don't want to give Cooper an opportunity to shoot a three-point shot.
Yeah, that makes a big difference with Maple Grove. If they just lay back, they're not going to. They're coming with at least a little bit of pressure enough so that it doesn't become an easy long inbound. Sproles is going to throw the inbound pass here. See what Cooper has in mind. 3 seconds to go in overtime. Sproles to Jalen Miller. Miller, the runner for the win. No, and Maple Grove will hang on for a 65-64 win in overtime. What a ball game here tonight.
Just a really exciting game. We saw highs and lows. We saw Cooper fight to get back into the game, but Maple Grove doing a good job hanging on.
We'll take a quick break and come back here to have our post game in just a moment. Crimson win it over Cooper in OT.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Checking 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to the shelterpetproject.org and meet a few who are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to the shelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Welcome back to Cooper. Wow, what a basketball game here tonight. Early season battle goes overtime. Maple Grove pulls out the victory by 1 point. We're joined by a couple of the Crimson guys, starting with Jared Rainey, able to make that go-ahead free throw. This was a wild one. You guys are up 13 and a half. They came back hard. You guys fought back and tied it. You know, how big was this one tonight?
Oh, it's a huge win for us, a good team win. And I feel like it will just boost our confidence. And as we go through the season, we'll know we could compete with physical teams like Cooper, a really good physical team. And we were able to win, and yeah, it's a good team win.
Back-to-back overtime games to start the season, too. Has that been kind of a thrill to have 2 in a row like that, too?
Yeah, it's a good way to start the season, I guess. But we know we can win it overtime, so we know we can compete with anybody. And, you know, we just want to make a statement this year, statement year.
Obviously, free throws are a big thing in a game like this, too, and you were able to get one out of the 2 at the end. What were you thinking when you stepped up to the line there?
I was just like, make the free throws and then get a stop on defense, and then that's all we were thinking, try to get a win at the end.
All right, thanks for joining us, and good luck against St. Michael Albertville. And Alex Batista, a force inside again here tonight for the Crimson. This is a tough ball game. You know, how much is this win going to help you guys?
I think it helps give the guards a lot of confidence because Rogers isn't a physical team like Cooper is, and this will give us a lot of confidence going forward so we can play against some more strong teams that are more up in our face.
I think as the season goes along, every team practices kind of those end-of-game situations, but had you guys practiced that much yet this early in the season?
No, we hadn't done any overtime practice, but last Friday we had overtime game, which is a good experience to help us here.
What was the feeling when they, came back on you hard and took the lead against you guys? Was there any panic in the huddle or anything like that, or did you guys stay pretty calm?
There's always going to be a little bit of panic there, but we stayed calm, kept our cool, and we came back and won it here in overtime.
All right, nice job here tonight, and good luck the rest of the season here.
All right, thank you.
Alex Batiste, a big force inside tonight for Maple Grove. Heck of a basketball game here tonight. Cooper coming back hard. Looked like for a moment they might be able to pull it out, but Maple Grove ends up winning it in the end by 1 point in OT here. Hope you've enjoyed this one tonight from Cooper High School. For Ariel McDonald and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Happy holidays from all of us at CCX Sports.